Ah, yes. Kill in Facility 51. A very underrated Roblox game where it's kind of like just like the other games that play similar to, well, Survive and Kill the Killer in Area 51. You enter in this facility, you get weapons, you kill enemies. Simple as that. But then there are certain games that I have played that I think are more fun than Survive and Kill the Killer in Area 51. Um, Kill in Facility 51 and Survive in the Facility Revamp. Now, I have made videos about these two games before. My first video being on Survive in the Facility Revamp, where I talk about two weapons, and I made a video talking about a weapon in Kill in Facility 51 as well. But this time, I want to do a different video, a different type of video about Kill in Facility 51. So, if you guys don't know, Kill in Facility 51 had an update a while back, or at least weeks ago. And let's just say it's a very amazing update, if I say so myself. Basically, if you go in the portal room, there's a certain portal that you can enter in that allows you to play the older versions of the game. Yes, you can actually play the older versions of the game now, which is basically there's like two great things that will happen. One obvious great thing is that you can actually get certain badge weapons that you couldn't get before because these old versions actually make it so you can actually go ahead and grind it in order to have a chance to get the badge weapons that normally you wouldn't be able to get, like the golden weapons, the Halloween gun, um, the freaking Christmas weapons, just pretty much any of the badge weapons you just couldn't be able to get before, because again, they're pretty much unattainable at the time. But then since the update dropped, we can pretty much play the old versions of the game. You can actually grind those old versions of the game to get the badge weapons that you couldn't be able to get before. Now, obviously, there are some versions of the game where grinding is a lot harder, but that's just how it is in most games. You gotta grind if you want to get the stuff you want. Don't even, trust me. Don't even get me started on the gold weapons grind. Holy shit, that was awful. Okay, it wasn't awful. It was just time consuming. Well, okay, it was time consuming until a certain thing happened, which I'm not gonna really get into it. But if you guys want to know, there is a video I did post where I encountered an admin. Now, if you guys want to check it out, that's fine. And again, if the devs want me to delete that video, I will delete that video. The admin video, the video where I encountered the admin. If the devs want me to delete that video, then I'll be okay to do that. I thought of deleting it at some point if the devs requested me to do so. But right now, I'm just making this video talking about the old version of the game, which is just me explaining every single, at least every detail of the older version of, well, this game. But that's enough about, that. It's time that we finally go on about all the older versions of Kill in Facility 51. Let us start off with Kill in Facility 51's release day. Yep, we are going all the way back into Kill in Facility 1's release. Now, this is just, well, the release version of the game, version 1.0. Um, now, despite the fact that this is just a release version of the game, there's clearly not many stuff in this game at all, unlike what we have in the game in the current version. And yes, by how I'm going to explain this, there really isn't much in this version of the game. Like, there's like barely anything at all. Like, so basically, the current stuff you see in the game now didn't really exist when the game first released. There is only two bosses in the game. Well, at least the two bosses I encountered, being Patient Zero and the Terminator. And there are events Yes, like the portal event does exist. You can go in the portal when it activates, but the cues for the portal is very inconsistent. Most of the time, you only hear it make a sound cue, and then there are times you will hear it make a sound cue. It's very inconsistent with the sound cues. Well, at least the portal, at least. And then we get to, well, oh yeah, oh yeah, only two mini bosses existed, which was the cave dweller and the fucking well, technically three mini bosses, which was the cave dweller, and then there's the weird three-headed dog fellow, whatever it's called. And then there's like the weird like there's this black fellow with tentacles and he's like glows red. Those are the only three mini bosses in the game at the time. And crafting did exist. Crafting did exist in this version of the game, but there wasn't much stuff you can craft at the time. The only thing you can really craft with is mainly the badge exclusive weapons. More specifically, the badge weapons that you mainly can only get by meeting like certain dev teams or something for of this game. Like in this clip, you see that I clearly have the Excalibur and even the axe. But yeah, those are like that's pretty much it with this version of the game. There really isn't much to it at all. Like we got crafting, yeah, and there's only two bosses and only like three mini bosses technically. Like there isn't many weapons either and such too. So it's like, yeah, this is just that's really all I can say about this version of the game. There really isn't much to it at all. Then again, it is just the release version of the game, so obviously there isn't much stuff on the release version of the game back then. But that's all I gotta say about Kills Facility 1's release version 1.0. Alright, so next up is version 1.172, if I said the number right. The Gold event plus the Halloween event. Yes, two events and one update. So, let's talk about, the stuff that they added in this version of the game. So first off, we got the Golden Shop, which basically is where you can actually grind for the golden weapons. And I'm gonna let you know right now, the golden weapons are really, really grindy, like super grindy to get. Obviously, I have them all, so I don't have to worry about grinding this again. Thank God. Yes, I do have all the golden weapons. I know. Call me a fucking dweller if you wish, but like, yeah, I do have all the gold weapons and such. And so out of all the other versions of this game, this is definitely the grindiest version of them all. Of course, the base game is pretty grindy, but god damn, dude, imagine having to grind for the golden weapons. That's just insane at this point. Um, and of course, we got the new gold weapons as usual. Oh yeah, we also got the badge room this time, which I also forgot to bring up. On the release day version, the portal room and the badge room didn't exist back then, but now we got the gold event and the Halloween event where the badge room actually exists. And of course, there's new badge rooms as well. And oh yeah, in this version, they added in the secret room. Yes, they added in the secret room. um the secret shop. The shop where you can get like better weapons and such. Yeah, that was added in the game. Oh yeah, there's also ultra crafting as well. Yes, ultra crafting was added in the game too. Oh yeah, they even added in a trash can that you can use to trash away weapons that you don't want, which didn't exist in the release version either. And there is new bosses. The Predator, the Undertaker, and oh yeah, and there's like new event bosses too. Like there's the Possessed Commander, which if you kill her, you get the freaking Halloween weapon. Which, by the way, you can actually craft another Halloween weapon with that gun too. By the way, Yeah, a lot of some pretty new stuff. And out of like and compared to like the other version, which was the release version, where it just barely had anything at all, this version at least had some stuff on it, despite the fact it was really grindy, especially when you had to grind for those golden weapons. But yeah, other than that, it's just what it is. Of course, do crafting weapons are added in too, and is there anything else we're getting? Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention this. On the release version of Kill in Facility 51, in the release version, by the way, two enemies can actually blind you when they attack you. But in this version, that was actually removed entirely. Which, now that I think about it, I'm glad they made it so enemies can't blind you now. Well, specifically the two enemies, the cave dweller and that three-headed dog enemy. Because holy crap, imagine getting attacked by them and you just couldn't see because they blind you with like PNGs and such. Especially the cave dweller. Yeah, it's just you're just screwed. But they removed it, so now you don't have to worry about being blinded and such, which I'm glad because like that would be so annoying to deal with. Um, yeah, there really is. Oh yeah, the dark area was added in too, which is the area you need to go to if you want to fight the Undertaker. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about. Oh yeah, there's also Halloween-based enemies too, so that's cool. Um, but yeah, that's what we really gotta say about the gold event plus the Halloween event at the same time. Overall, this version is well, it's fun, but man, it was pretty time consuming when trying to grind these gold weapons. Until a certain thing happened, which again I'm not gonna bring up, but yeah, that's that's all I gotta say about this version of Killing Facility 51. All right, now we're on to version 1.201. The Halloween event, which is the post gold event. So this was when the gold shop was removed. Um, there is new things added into this version though. Actually, surprisingly enough. Um, I also forgot to mention one thing: the ultra crafting I just mentioned the other version. The ultra crafting was actually added in this version, the post gold event version of the Halloween event. The other crafting I was trying to mention in the other version was actually it wasn't the ultra crafting. It was like a second variant of the craft. It was the tier two crafting, I think. Yeah, this version added the tier three crafting. Um, there are actual new stuff that was added into this game as well. The first thing is they actually added in Atlas. Yeah, they added in Atlas, the fucking water boss you can fight and such. And of course, at the time, he was pretty much the tankiest boss in the game, at least in this version. But yeah, they add an Atlas, and is there anything else we're getting? Oh yeah, the ultra crafting thing, and I think that's just about it. Oh yeah, because of the ultra crafting, they add in new crafting stuff as well, so that's cool. And what else did they add in? I think that's just about it. Yeah, I mean, that's just about it for this version of the game. They added a new boss, which was Atlas. They added Ultra Crafting, and again, I'm pretty sure there is other stuff that I did forgot. If there is, then remind me in the comments at least. Um, but yeah, that's really all I gotta say about this version of Kill in Facility 51 and all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much just about it, most likely. Alright, for the next version of Kill in Facility 51, we got version 1.251. 51. That rhymes. But yeah, jokes aside, version 1.251, the Christmas event and the Jason Voorhees event. So what does this version of the game add in? Well, first off, it adds in event bosses, mainly Christmas related event bosses, and they even add in Jason Voorhees as an event boss. And of course, you need to be really OP, you need extremely powerful gear, you defeat those guys, and you get the very overpowered stuff. Um, but what about the base game? What about the base game other than, the new event bosses and the new badge weapons you can get and all that? Well, let's go back to crafting again. They added in a new type of crafting this time. The Omega crafting. Yes, Omega crafting. Which I'm assuming is tier 4, I'm assuming, in the current game. But yeah, they added in the Omega crafting, which basically can craft even more overpowered stuff. Um, what else does this version have? Oh yeah, they added in Spitfire, who is a boss. In the base game, they added in Spitfire, a new boss. Well, not a new boss anymore, but in this version, he was added in. And oh yeah, the drone room. They even added in the drone room where you can fight the other bosses, like the gods and all that shenanigans. Yeah, they added in those guys, the gods you can fight in the drone room. They added in those guys too. And there's also another thing I also forgot to mention in the Halloween version as well. Well, at least the post gold event version of the Halloween update. In the post gold event Halloween update, they actually added in the unknown shop. I forgot to bring this up. I knew I was getting something, but yeah, it was the unknown shop they added in. That was the one thing I forgot. But yeah, in the other version they added the unknown shop. But enough about that. Now we're in the Christmas version. Um, as for anything else they added in, I don't necessarily know. That's all I really checked out on right now. I could have missed something, but that's just me not looking at everything. I could have missed like something. But that's all I know about really of this version of the game. The Christmas bosses, Jason Voorhees, the new badge weapons, Spitfire, the gods you can fight, and yeah, that's most likely it. And there's probably some new events as well, but I don't really bother messing with the portal and such that much, really. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say about. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention as well. There's another thing in the Halloween post gold event, the post gold event version Halloween event. They even added in the laser parkour thing as well, which if you complete, you get a laser weapon. I forgot to bring that up too. So another error I made. Um, yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this version of the update. The the Christmas plus Jason event update. That's all I really gotta say about this version. Alright. Next up, version 1.272, I think? I don't know. But this is apparently a part 2 beta version of the game. And also, this is the Valentine's Day event. So, what does this version of the game have to offer? Um, well, they actually added a ton of new stuff. They added a new crafting room, obviously, new crafting weapons, new weapons, of course. But they actually added a ton of new stuff. A ton of bosses. Patient Zero Phase Final Form, the Predator's Final Form, the Super Terminator. I think that's what next one is called. Oh yeah, the Golden Terminator 2. And of course, new badge weapons, and of course, a new event boss, which is the Enchantress of Lust, which is the Valentine's Day event boss that you can fight. Of course, once you kill her, you get the Cupid bow, which is a really good weapon, which is pretty strong by the way. It's pretty strong. Um, Oh yeah, they even added a gatekeeper, also known as the base game's final boss. Yes, the base game's final boss, the gatekeeper. They added him in this version too. Um, yeah, that's just about it for this version of the game, pretty much. And the rest of the version we're gonna go through are just mainly just the smaller stuff, like event related stuff. Of course, they add the new stuff as time goes on, but it's like, yeah, that's just about it. Really, I could really talk about this version of the game. I mean, obviously, this version of the game is obviously good. I mean, it adds in pretty much the stuff that the current game has now. And of course, it's the Valentine's Day event. So we got an event boss, which is the Enchantress of Lust. Um, who's not really a pain in the act. Not really a pain to deal with, really. Um, yeah, that's all I really gotta say about, this version of the game, really. But yep, that is the Valentine's Day version update of Kill in Facility 51. On to the next version. Oh boy. Oh god. So now we're on to version 1.284? 2? I don't know. I lost track of the number already. The St. Patrick's Day event update. What does this update add in? Well, new crafting stuff and new badge weapon, obviously, because of the St. Patrick's Day update. Um, of course. Oh yeah, there's also they also did a collab with at the time they even did a collab with another Roblox game, which is really what this game is based off of. Survive and kill the killer in Area 51. Um, so basically, there's two stuff. They did a collab with another game, and of course, St. Patrick's update. Um, the new weapons, the new badge weapons you can get, especially the last one, which is, I want to say, it's an absolute nightmare to get. And the only reason I ended up getting it to begin with was because I had players help. Because, oh my god, the fucking last guy that you had to fight, the Clover King. I'll get to that jerk in a moment. Um, so of course, so the weapons are cool, definitely fun to mess around with. But man, trying to get the last weapon, especially if you're trying to do it by yourself, because believe me, I really really before well, obviously in this current clip, which you might not see because this talk about this update might be short. No crap, no shit. I tried to beat the Clover King on my own. Really fucking impossible. I couldn't do jack shit. I couldn't even get past his first phase. He was just, he was that BS. I'm not kidding when I'm saying this. He is that BS. There is one player that I did watch on YouTube that actually managed to beat the Clover King on his own. Which I don't know how the heck you were completely fine with doing that without going insane. Because, bro, every time I try to face on my own, I just keep getting insta killed. But anyways, other than the Clover King, this update is, well, it's not bad. It's just the only awful part is, well, the Clover King. Really the hardest boss in this entire game. And he's only an event boss of all things. He is really an event boss, and he is the biggest pain in the egg of all time. But yeah, nothing really much in this update. Just new event bosses and new bass weapons you can get if you have the time to do so. If you're even capable of beating the Clover King to begin with, especially if you try to do it alone, because wow. Again, the only reason I managed to get the Clover King's sword because I had players help. Well, actually, I tried to help, but eventually I gave up. But the players ended up managing to kill him eventually, and I just so happened to come to the boss fight at the right time. And yeah, I got his weapon just like that. But dude, could you imagine me trying to beat this guy on my own? Oh my god, I tried. I really just kept getting destroyed at that point on. Maybe if I had like really, maybe I had like the best gear in the game and overpowered weapons, maybe it would have been different. But who knows? I don't know what the heck the devs were thinking in their head at the time when they were cooking that boss. I don't know what they had going on in their head when adding the Clover King. But anyways, that's all I really gotta say about this version of the game. It's time to move on to the Sigma. Alright, so here we are. The April Fool's update. The Sigma 1.29. Um Again, just like the last update, this doesn't really add much except for like, April Fool's weapons that you can get and April Fool's bosses and such. However, just like the other update, the freaking St. Patty's update, this update is also a pain as well. And I'll get to in a moment why. So nothing much has changed. I mean, except there's just new badge weapons, which is the April Fool stuff, new crafting stuff, and probably some balance changes and all that. Um, that's just about it, pretty much. Now we get to the part to why I said this is also a painful update. Um, let's talk about the final boss you have to fight for the April Fool's event. Yeah, the Skibidi Toilet Head Godzilla. 350 billion HP. What? Anyways, that's all I gotta say about this update. Um, yeah, other than the Godzilla Skibidi Toilet boss, 350 billion HP is insane. Um, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this update. Nothing too crazy. It's just the only painful part is the Skibidi Toilet Godzilla that you need to fight in order to get the last April Fool's weapon, or at least get the best one if you really need it. Just know that if you ever find him on, like, okay, he's not hard. He's not a hard boss. If you have really, really OP stuff, he's really not that hard. But because he has 350 billion HP, he takes forever to kill. But yeah, other than that, that is all I need to say about the Sigma update, the April Fool's update. Alright, so next up is the Easter update, version 1.29292. And just like the other versions I discovered already, this one didn't really add much except for like new crafting weapons, most likely, and balance changes, possibly, and new badge weapons, specifically from the Easter update, and of course, new bosses to fight. Um, by the way, the Egg of the Lord is an absolute powerhouse of a boss. What do I mean by that? Is that he is overpowered. Yep. So I guess the Clover King is the only overpowered boss in the end there. But yeah, other than that, so technically another painful update if you're trying to get the last weapon. That very awesome scythe. Again, I only managed to get that weapon because I had help from randoms. But other than that, yeah. So the Easter update. So of course it just adds in event bosses and all that. New badge weapons and other stuff too. So nothing much really. Just pretty much another update that just mainly focus on the event itself. Good update though, although the Egg of the Lord is an absolute pain of a boss to go up against. But unless you know what you're doing, or if you got a big powerhouse of a team, then you'll definitely beat him at some point, I guess. But anyways, that's all I really gotta say about the Easter update. Yeah, I got nothing really to say about this. But I'll tell you guys this. I have played this update before, like before it ended and all that, and you know, all these new recent updates happened. I actually have played this update before, way before, you were able to play the old versions. But yeah, as of currently right now, you cannot play this version. You can't play you cannot play the June 13th Jason update because for some reason the portal just doesn't teleport you to the game. It just keeps saying teleportation failed and basically says that you attempted to teleport to a restricted area. Um, if a dev of this game somehow sees this, perhaps fix this. However, I can actually tell you guys about this update because again, I actually played the update when it first came out. Um, so this is the June 13th Jason event version 1.295. Um, I'm gonna say this right now. The only thing that was added in this update is just Jason. Literally, that's it. They just added in Jason. But unlike what Jason was like in the Christmas update, he actually is a lot different. Of course, he's a tanky boss, so you need really OP stuff. Um, and Jason is also he also has a second phase this time, unlike in the Christmas event where he only had one phase and that's it. Jason actually had a second phase where he turns into Burning Jason, or in this case, Savini Jason. Yes, he becomes Savini Jason, and he's a lot more harder in the second phase. Actually, not really. You have like really good stuff, especially weapons that can push bosses back. He's actually not that hard to deal with, really, if you know what you're doing. But yeah, oh yeah, a new badge weapon as well, which is really just Jason's machete, except it's on fire, and probably a lot stronger too. So yeah, all this I think really added is just Jason and a new badge weapon pretty much at the end of the day. That's all I really gotta say about the June 13th Jason update. Yep, that's really it. That's all I can say. Yeah, you thought I was done? Nope, absolutely not. We still got the last thing to talk about of this. Now I know for the point of this video is basically me talking about all the older versions of the game, but I think it's fair if I talk about the current version of the game that we're currently in right now. The current game, pretty much. So, version 1.29.10. I guess you could say the current version of the game right now. Um, as of now, it's pretty much the same, except they did weeks ago, or I guess you could say a month ago, most likely, they did add in a new game mode, another event, and this event is actually a lot more different than you think. That's right, I'm talking about this event, the Caprarium event, or Caprarian, the Caprarian, yeah, the Caprarian invasion event. Now unlike the other events where, there's like certain portals you gotta go into and fight certain enemies or other stuff, this one's actually a lot different. Instead of it being that, it actually takes you into what seems to be an entirely different game, which of course follows the same gameplay formula as usual, except it's a lot more challenging than the base game. Well, it was way more harder when the update first came out, but then I came out to try it again, and they updated it and make it so you can actually teleport to so you can actually get the bosses like very easy now by just simply using the teleporters. But what does this different game mode have for what it's supposed to be? Basically, it follows the same formula as the base game mode, only this time there's like pretty much like a total of like 6 areas, I believe. Yeah, 6 areas. You got the outside area, then you got the first room of the base, and then you got like the main, and then you got like the second room, which is what leads you to the boss rooms to fight the three bosses, the three main bosses of this event. Um, Of course, usual, you gotta grind, get powerful gear, and then once you get powerful gear, you can fight the bosses and all that. Um, Except this game mode is actually really fucking hard because unlike the main game where you actually where you have like really powerful armor and stuff, this is the complete opposite of. This is actually hard because first off, you are stuck in first person. No third person in this one, buddy. You are really stuck in first person, and you cannot get better armor. Only better weapons as you grind, which means you can actually die really, really fast if you are not careful. But of course, once you get the really OP stuff and once you actually get better at this, it's actually not that bad. And of course, the bosses are really challenging and really hard to deal with until you figure out that there's actually an easy way to beat them. But which is really just what I just did when I was fighting one of the bosses. I think the first boss. It's those weird like pillars on the walls that you can somehow climb up to, which I actually didn't know that you can do that until I was fighting a boss with a random player and they actually did it themselves, and that's how I found out how to do it. But yeah, so the Carrion game mode is it's definitely hard and in my personal opinion not really fun. It tends to feel well. Obviously, this was during the time when the update first came out. I'm not gonna lie, the update was so fucking awful when it first came out. Not because of like the enemies being actually no, it was mainly because like it's just really unfair at most times. Cause you tend to die because of things that are completely out of your control. Another thing too, you can't sprint, so you're just slow as heck the entire time. Like slow as hell. So you're just guaranteed to die so easily because of the one fact that you cannot sprint. Of course, this is before they actually updated it, where now you can just simply teleport to the room you want to go, so you can actually get to the bosses way faster now, so you don't have to suffer trying to get all the way to the bosses and constantly dying a lot in the process because you can't sprint and you're just bound to die so quickly because there is a certain scenario where just enemies can just easily cheese you, like there's no issue at all. Cause oh my god, dude, when the Korean update first came out, playing this game mode was like, it was horrible. It was painful. And then eventually, the devs finally updated to make it so like, if you have enough points, you can actually go ahead and go straight to the boss immediately now, instead of having to walk all the way to the boss, like how you supposed to do back then when it first came out. God, I hated that so much. That was awful, especially when you have to deal with enemies that can just easily wipe you out. I actually planned to make a rant video about this update, but I decided to cancel it because, let's be honest, I just don't care anymore because eventually I managed to complete the event. I have all the badges from that event, and I even supposed to have the golden slack glove until the devs decide to make it so you need to get the badge for it, and then you need to get 6.50 billion kill coins in the base game. Why would you do that, Des? Why? It doesn't matter now because I also did that, so now I can use the golden slap glove again. Yay, cool. Really wish I didn't have to grind again, but whatever. I'm so sick of grinding this game at this point. Um. Anyways, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about That's pretty much it about all the versions of Kill and Facility 51. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this long video. If you did, then that's good. Obviously, there are some things I don't like about these old versions. Um, and of course, there are some things I don't like about the current version. Mainly just the Corellian event that I don't like that much. But other than that, they're all pretty fun in their own way. It's just some of them are a bit too BS in my personal opinion. But other than that, yeah, it was a good long run talking about all these versions of the game. I'm Boost Studios, and I'll catch you all next time.